Hey, y'all, it's Mike Reeser.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
You ready? 1 o'clock. Okay. The Community and Technical College Formula Advisory Meeting is called to order. I am Dr. Pamela Anglin from Paris Junior College, serving as chair. Please be advised that this meeting is being broadcast over the internet and recorded, so I would ask all attendees to silence your cell phones. For those attending via teleconference, please mute your phone until you are ready to speak. Thank you. Mr. Gilmore, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Terry Crawford? Here. Dr. Maldonado? Here. Dr. Brent Wallace? Here. Mr. Patrick Lee? Here. Mr. Richard Cervantes? Here. Ms. Mary Wicklund? Has not joined yet. Mr. Yiannopoulos? Here. Mr. Reeser?
I'm here.
Dr. Riza is not here. Dr. Anglin?
Here.
Dr. Phil Rhodes?
Here.
Dr. McMillan? Here. Ms. Elizondo?
Here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining the meeting today. We have a quorum. As a reminder, members on the call are permitted to vote. Item 2 is consideration and approval of the minutes from the December 4th, 2019 meeting. The draft meeting minutes were included in your meeting materials. Do members have any comments, questions, or corrections to the draft minutes?
I would move to accept as presented.
Second.
Dr. Wallace has made a motion to approve, and Mr. Yiannopoulos has seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Item 3 is discussion, review, and consideration of the Commissioners' 2021 biennium charges. We're going to look at Charge 3 first, which is study and make recommendations on the efficacy of critical need fields as they relate to contact hour and success point funding. We were to review the draft recommendation provided in the meeting materials relating to Charge 3, which is to recommend changes in critical need fields as it relates to contact hour and success point funding. Dr. McMillan, do you have any comments?
The comments I would make is the recommendations are the same, that we would propose to change the name from critical fields to targeted fields. And then secondly, that we would recommend to have a process for updating targeted fields going forward. That process is outlined in the materials in somewhat more detail this time than was present in the materials last time. We'll be happy to answer any questions as it happens related to those. Additionally, we had some further discussion between about those fields that were not at the state wage, and a few of those fields were removed since the last time we visited. The complete list is present. It shows the timeline and how things would rotate in the cycling in and cycling off of fields for success points. The second part of what we looked at is critical fields for contact hours, and just remind you that at this point we are recommending no changes for critical fields for contact hour reimbursement. That's a complex issue that needs further study.
Is there any further discussion? Do I hear a motion to approve the committee's recommendation?
I'll make a motion, we accept the committee's recommendation on critical fields.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Yiannopoulos and a second by Mr. Cervantes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Charge 3 is approved. We will move to charge 4. We were to review the 2 draft recommendations provided in the meeting materials relating to charge 4, which is to recommend the appropriate number of points to be awarded for each success point metric. Dr. McMillan, do you have any comments?
There are 2 alternatives here since our last meeting. The first alternative is that we would take all the new metrics that are recommended to 0.5 points as opposed to taking only 1 to 0.5 and the rest to 0.25. The difference between those is $8.5 to $9 million. Those details are in the packet as it exists. Did have some questions earlier about academically and economically disadvantaged. Well, more about economically disadvantaged, and people wanted to know where we landed on that. We went back to what data we have available, and Julie, you'll have to make sure I say this correctly, but it is Pell students who've received Pell Grant and it's at the time of the points received, looking back 10 years. There are there's one exception to that makes sense. The co-enrollment, that measure only goes back 3 years in total, and so from a co-enrollment perspective, that one is only a 3-year time frame, and that applies for the academically disadvantaged as well. But that's only because it's laying over top of that particular metric. And so, Julie, would you like to add any more clarity on that?
Yes, you've got that correct in terms of the economically disadvantaged. In terms of the academically disadvantaged, the way that's determined is if someone, when their first time in college, were determined to be academically that not to have met the TSI, then they would fall into that bucket. So we really just base that on when we've got the first time in college flag for that student, we look to see if they were ready or not. So that would be true for the co-enrollment students as well as for the other populations.
So as we get closer to the recommendation and the execution, we're really getting closer to what data elements are and how we actually execute that. The intention under economically disadvantaged is if there are additional data that are available or are reliable that the coordinating board is able to access, we would encourage that, accessing that, because that's important to us. The Formula Advisory Committee, the TAC Metrics Task Force looked at this, and then we sent out a vote on this, and their recommendation between the two is for the 0.5 for all the metrics.
Now, want to make sure we're clear. The alternative 2, all that was done there was taking dual credit to 0.5, which was what the committee approved last time. And so through additional work from the Metrics Task Force, we have alternative 1, which takes all of those to 0.5. So is there a motion to approve alternative 1?
Since I was the one that brought up the 0.5 originally in the last meeting, I would make the motion to approve alternative 1.
I second it.
We have a motion by Dr. Wallace and a second by Mrs. Crawford. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Then we're unanimous on alternative 1. Did I have any abstentions? Then it's unanimous on alternative 1. Next, we will move to charge 1. And so as you look at charge 1, we're going to just look at alternative 1. So in alternative 1, we would, core operations increase to $2 million per college for a total change of $32 million. Success points with alternative 1 would be an increase of $45.6 million. This is success points at $215 per point. Am I at the wrong one? Okay, sorry about that. I didn't go up far enough. Just a moment. $54.5 million. And then contact hour funding, the committee gave me some discretion last time, and we've moved this from $5.44 to $5.83, which would be an overall increase in contact hour funding of 7.7% or $118.5 million. So moving towards a $6 contact hour rate, but looking to kind of go along with the growth over the years. And then the Bachelor of Applied Technology, a $0.6 million increase to that just based on growth, same rate. So a total change of $205.6 million or 11.2%. Any discussion on where the formula in charge 1 ends up with the other recommendations being approved?
I'll make a recommendation, we accept the proposed change to alternative 1 as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Yiannopoulos and a second by Dr. Cervantes. All those, Mr. Okay, now we're going to get. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, then we have our charge 1 approved with alternative 1. So what you have here, it would end up being our draft report for the Community and Technical Colleges Formula Advisory Committee with our prior approvals on recommendation on charge 2 and charge 5. Do we have any discussion, further discussion on our report?
I just want to publicly say thank you to the work that's been done. This has been a lot of work on everyone's part. Roland and Julie both, Jeremy and his, heavy lift on working with metrics task force and everyone. And I don't think people may realize the intensity of that work to get to this point. So I just want to say thank you. That's not so much a comment on the report itself. I think it's brilliant, but I just think people need to realize how important it was and the effort that they did. So thank you all for your work on that.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And I've served on this committee a number of years, and I would say the work that's been done this year surpasses the work that's been done in any prior year. And so I just want to thank Julie, Roland for gathering data for us, because we have had more data available to us than we've ever had before. And I think our recommendations going forward are truly data-based, and a lot of thought has gone into them, and a lot of work. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, and I just also would like to publicly thank Dr. Chelsea Moore, who's someone on our staff who works with the workforce data and has been very helpful, and also Diane Ergel, who has run Success Points in numerous different ways for us to review this. So many thanks to them as well. Thanks.
So do I hear a motion to approve the committee's final report with alternative 1?
So moved.
Was that Dr. Rhodes that seconded? Okay. So motion that by Mrs. Crawford, second by Dr. Rhodes. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Okay, so the motion is approved. Then I would like to hear a motion to allow the chair and vice chair to have the final review and approval for any edits to the adopted recommendations, January minutes, and the final committee report.
So moved.
A motion by Dr. Wallace,
Second.
second by Mr. Yiannopoulos. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Again, I want to just say a huge thank you to everyone on the committee and to the folks at the coordinating board for doing so much work in January meeting, and we've met our deadline. So
Thank you. I'd like to thank the committee members on behalf of the coordinating board, because you really made it easy for us to assist you. So we really appreciate all of the effort there as well. Thank you to all of you.
if there's nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
And a second?
Come on, Brent.
Second? Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned.